The House of Hesse has married with the Russian Romanovs, and the Hesses were the Rothschilds' original employers. The Rothschilds financed the Hesses' Hessian mercenaries to fight on both sides of the conflict, and they financed wars on both sides of a conflict. Several Hessian princes were Nazi military leaders during World War II. Prince Donatus is cousins with Prince Vittorio Emanuele IV of Savoy, and his close relative Prince Simon of Savoy-Aosta is a Russian businessman and the Sovereign Military Order of Malta ambassador to Russia, and he has meetings with Putin. This Nazi maniac war criminal Prince Donatus von Hessen is a top NWO military leader, and he is the one who is covertly commanding the Russian military to bomb civilians. The House of Hesse are a military bloodline of the Holy Roman Empire, closely allied with the House of Habsburg and British Crown, and they manage the Rockefeller, which have ancestry from the region of Hesse. The Hesse princes are extremely murderous Nazis. Landgrave Donatus of Hesse is a global commander of Nazi gang-stalking cults. The Hesse family own the Iron Horseman motorcycle gang, which were founded in Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a large German-American population. The first German Methodist church was established in Cincinnati. Hesse in Old Germanic Danish means horse. The House of Hesse also owned the Hessian motorcycle gang in California. Rudolf Hesse was a relative of the House of Hesse and deputy Führer of the Nazi Party. Philip the Landgrave of Hesse was a member of the Nazi Party. Christoph Ernst August of Hesse was a member of the Nazi SS. Meyer Amschel Rothschild was the founder of the Rothschild banking dynasty and employed through the House of Hesse and Elector William I of Hesse. Royalty and nobility ruled and owned governments. They lived in palaces with vaults filled with gold. They employed bankers and businessmen, which were and are usually fake Israelites like the Rothschilds, who they would loan out gold to so they could manage proxy banks for them. When people get fed up with oppressive governments and corruption, the blame is mostly shifted onto bankers, which are really serving the royal and noble families. Christian royalty and their Jewish bankers are both criminals. Royalty use their power in government to protect the bankers, and the bankers use wealth to finance protection for monarchs or today politicians through payoffs. Today Benjamin the Rothschild works as a banker for the House of Habsburg and House of Hesse. Horst Paulmann is worth about $3 billion and is from Kassel, Hesse. Paulmann is the founder, CEO, and chairman of Cencosud, a South American retail company. The House of Hesse originated from the House of Brabant, which was allied with the House of Habsburg's hidden ancestors from the Carolingian Ottonian dynasty, which ruled as kings of Lotharingen and dukes of Lorraine, which is why the House of Habsburg often took the name Otto and used the name Habsburg-Lorraine. The House of Hesse have a close alliance with the nobles of Westphalia, like the Somme family, which has been a heavily militant region of Germany. The Hesses employed soldiers from Westphalia as their mercenaries. The Rodham and Epstein families were also nobles under the House of Hesse. Rodham was Rodheim. This is why the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein were close friends. The Rothschilds were first employed by the Hesses, and that is also why the Rothschilds are close friends with the Clintons. The House of Hesse's more ancient ancestry is somewhat connected with the Este clan of Estonia, with the Esterhazy, Est, and Essen families. The Este clan was located in the modern-day regions of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. The Essen family were located in Estonia and worked with the Russian military and also established themselves as a Swedish nobility after Sweden conquered Estonia. Peter Kirillovich Essen and Ivan Essen were Russian military generals. Hans Henrik von Essen was a high-level military leader working for the Swedish crown, and his son Baron Frederick von Essen was a high-level Swedish politician. Baron Alexander von Essen is a current member of this family and owns a vineyard in South Africa. Gustav Douglas is a Swedish billionaire and his wife is Elizabeth von Essen. Thomas von Essen was FDNY Commissioner during 9/11, a commander of the Order of the British Empire, and currently the FEMA Regional Administrator for Region 2 in New York City. Heinrich Diekmann is a German billionaire with his shoe company headquartered in Essen. The Este clan were located in parts of ancient Lithuania. Leon Hesse's family was from Lithuania and he founded the Hesse Corporation, which has about 34 billion in assets. The House of Hesse likely have some shares in Hesse Corporation. John B. Hesse is the current CEO of Hesse. The House of Hesse are covert co-managers of Interpol, the international police agency which was taken over by Nazis during World War II. Jürgen Stock is currently Secretary General of Interpol and was educated at the University of Gießen, established by the Hesses and Habsburgs. The House of Hesse are also claimants to the Kingdom of Finland because Prince Frederick Charles of Hesse was elected King of Finland during German occupation, which at the time was similar to Germany's takeover of Estonia and Lithuania. The Mountbattens are closely related to the House of Hesse through Princess Victoria of Hesse as the maternal founder of the family. George Mountbatten IV, Marquis of Milford Haven, Henry David Louis Mountbatten the Earl of Modena, and Lord Iver Mountbatten are current members of this family. The Mountbattens are a British branch of the House of Hesse. Hessians were mercenaries from Hesse-Kassel and Hesse-Hanau, which were states ruled by the House of Hesse. The Lake City Silent Pills was a group of contract killers communicating through the internet who were covertly employed by the House of Hesse through the Bush Beer family and Olin family and the Olin's Lake City Army ammunitions plant in Missouri. They are inactive now. Todd Walters is a U.S. Army general and the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe. The name Walters derives from the German name Walter, which means ruler of an army. Hessian soldiers were hired by the British Crown to fight in the American Revolution. Hessian mercenaries also fought on both sides of the War of the Austrian Succession. I believe the House of Hesse are involved with Asgard, which is a German private military company. Essen is a German city in North Rhine-Westphalia. Kings Wendebold of Lotharingia and of the Ottonian dynasty established the Essen Abbey with Princess Abbesses to govern over the city of Essen. The Hesse family married in with the abbesses of Essen with Landgravine Maria Eleonora of Hesse-Rotenburg, the mother of Abbess Franziska Christina of Essen. Essen is Habsburg Hesse territory. The Walthausens were a wealthy banking and industrial family from Essen. The Krupp family originated from Essen, Germany, and they are an industrial family involved with producing steel and armaments. Krupp was a major military armament supplier for the Nazis and used Nazi slave labor. Krupp merged to become ThyssenKrupp, which has about 35 billion in assets, and the House of Hesse covertly owned shares in this company, likely through the Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach Foundation. Thyssen was another wealthy German family whose companies like Vereinigte AG worked with the Nazis. The Thyssen family married into the Zichy family of Hungary, where the House of Habsburg have ruled. The current head of the Zichy family is Count Claudio Zichy Thyssen, the owner of Thyssen-Schachtbau, and he is a major landowner in Argentina where the Nazis fled to. Thyssen-Schachtbau is an industrial construction company involved with mining and transportation. Hans Heinrich Thyssen, born Mizza, was the father-in-law of Archduke Karl von Habsburg. George Hesse, a Jewish relative and agent of the House of Hesse, along with Hesse Newman & Company Private Bank, co-founded Commerzbank, which today has over 500 billion in assets under management. Hesse Newman & Company was purchased in 2009 by Grenke Bank. Weyerhaeuser is a large timber company located in the state of Washington that owns 12 million acres of timberlands in the United States with another 14 million acres in contracts in Canada. Weyerhaeuser was founded by Friedrich Weyerhaeuser, who was from Hesse, Germany. Today the company has 18 billion in assets. Landesbank Hessen Thuringen Hellaba is a German bank in Hesse-Kassel created out of a merger of several older banks in Hesse like Landskreditkasse zu Kassel. Darmstadt and National Bank was the second largest bank in Germany, created out of a merger with the Hesse-based Darmstadt Bank for Trade and Industry and the National Bank for Germany. Darmstadt and National Bank was forced to close down, creating a banking crisis. It was purchasing its own shares at a higher rate than their worth and gave out more loans than what the bank was worth. This hurt the German economy and helped to give rise to the Nazis and blaming all Jews for what the German prince's corrupt court Jew bankers did. Prince Wilhelm of Hesse-Philippsthal-Barchfeld was a captain in the Nazi military. Prince Wilhelm received Nazi salutes during his wedding to Princess Marianne. I believe the House of Hesse covertly oversee the BFV German intelligence agency. Heinz Fromm was head of the BFV from 2000 to 2012 and was previously Secretary of State in the Hessian Ministry of the Interior. Heinz Fromm resigned because he destroyed files on the neo-Nazi group called the National Socialist Underground. The Rockefeller family originated from the region of Hesse and are really agents of the various German royals and nobles including the Hesses, Sayn-Wittgensteins, Hohenzollerns, and Wiedeneuwieds. Princess Mafalda is a top authority over the cult of Hestia, which is a female cult of women who use motherhood to cover up their evil. Princess Mafalda of Hesse was married to the Italian Count Enrico Morone-Cinzano and later married and also divorced Count Ferdinando Bracetti Peretti, also of Italy. The House of Hesse have alliances with the Italian nobility and House of Savoy. The grandmother of Donatus and Mafalda was Princess Mafalda of Savoy of Italian royalty. The name Donatus is an Italian name. Landgrave Donatus of Hesse is the head of this family today and an extremely murderous Nazi. Other members include Donatus's wife Countess Floria of Hesse, and she is from the Faber-Castell family, as well as Prince Philip of Hesse, Princess Elena of Hesse, Princess Mafalda of Hesse, Prince Rainer Christoph Friedrich of Hesse, Princess Irina of Hesse, and Prince Christoph of Hesse.